Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gaming English. Today, as you can see, we are doing a speed build. Basically, this is a new home I'm making for my sim self and my husband Daniel. If you saw in a previous video, I made a micro home at Sulani. And it was terrible. It was horrible looking. It was just Daniel's worst nightmare. He hated it. So I'm going to try to make a new microhome for this family, especially because I don't know if you've been having this problem, but I've been having it in my build. The Murphy beds are constantly breaking. I was hoping that would get fixed in the newest patch from The Sims this month, but so far I'm still having the problem. I even deleted their old bed and got a new one. That didn't work. They're just every single night, basically, the Murphy bed breaks. And one time it even killed my sim. It was horrible. And it's just ridiculous that they can't get one night of sleep without it breaking. So I decided that mixed with just how horrible the other build looked was a good reason to make a new micro home and see if the problem still happens here. I have a feeling it will. I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to make this playable, and it's really frustrating. There you can see I put in the Murphy bed because quite honestly, you really can't fit a normal bed for two Sims in a micro home. I haven't been able to figure out how to do it. Maybe I need to look at some other YouTubers who might have done it, but I find it pretty much close to impossible to do that. And especially we need a full tub because I have a little dog as well in this game and he needs to have his baths. He needs to be washed and you can't do that in the sink and stuff. So I need a full tub. I think that's part of the problem. Anyway, so I wanted to build a new micro home in Windenburg, and I wanted it to be sort of like a fairy cottage, just in the middle of the forest, surrounded by plants and trees, and I wanted the garden to be filled with just overgrown flowers and ivy and vines, so you'll see that soon too. And like all of my speed builds, just so you know, this isn't going to be a planned English episode. This is just me chatting with you so you can sit back and relax and just watch a speed build in your target language. I've noticed for me when I'm learning Spanish, sometimes I just get so tired of studying the grammar and having Spanish classes, and sometimes I just want to just kind of experience the language and practice hearing the language naturally. So that's my idea behind these speed builds and other videos that sometimes I post is sometimes you just want to break from the English lessons, and that's what gaming English is all about. It's learning English while doing something you like. So I might put a few little vocabulary words up on the screen, but otherwise there's no active teaching happening in this video. As you can see, I'm trying to fit in the tub and the sink and figuring out where the door can go and trying to keep as much space as possible for everything else. I'll eventually actually move that wall back to create more space for the table and chairs. Right now, my sim self is a student, so she needs to be able to have her laptop and be able to do her homework here easily. So I definitely needed the table and chairs. I think that was a must. Especially just to eat food, like you need to have something. I was struggling a little with figuring out the windows because I love that one window in the front, but it doesn't really fit with the others. I think I keep it. It's not very matchy, but once you see all the plants with it and everything, I think it comes together very nicely. I hope, at least. I know I'm not much of a builder, but I love doing it. It's so much fun. And I like to share it too, even though it's nothing compared to what else you see, especially on YouTube. It's amazing. But in this build, I finally figured out how to get all of the plant objects, because before I was using the cheat called Show Hidden Objects. So basically that allows you to see extra objects in the game that you don't get in build and buy mode. And I thought that was the only cheat for that, and I was wrong. There's actually, I think it's Show Live Mode objects, and that's where you get all the plants and stuff. And I learned that today, and that was really nice to just get some free trees and bushes and things like that. Because if you're buying them, it really adds up to the cost. And I want my Sims to afford this house without any cheats. I'm trying to play this version of The Sims, of my Sim self, without any cheats. Except for obviously like move objects and things like that for the build mode. And this is where I'm trying to find those trees in debug, but soon I realize that you actually need to go into a different cheat to do that. So my Sim in this game is also a bit of a gardener, and I wanted to make sure that she had space to grow her plants, to grow her vegetables and fruits, and that can also bring in a good amount of money. So I wanted to make sure that there was space for that and that they maintained their micro home status, which gives you a faster grow time for all of the plants. Now this is where I finally discovered the new cheat, and I'm just adding plants everywhere. I'm so excited. It was so fun to see these all finally. And so I go a little bit plant crazy here, as you're about to see. I love this tree with the hanging flowers. It's so gorgeous. It just looks so much like it's perfect for a fairy cottage like this one. And now I'm adding my vegetable and fruit garden over here. I'm going to put some planters there so that she can grow a bunch of different vegetables and fruits. And just hanging a bunch of plants all over the cottage and just making everything look really overgrown. But in a good way, in a pretty magical way. And now we've got these big trees to make it really feel like a forest. Now I'm starting to feel like this is truly a forest cottage. Oh, I love the little arch. It makes me so happy. And now we're adding some wildflowers, some more trees. This is honestly my dream home. I would love to live in a little cottage in the middle of the forest and just grow all of my own fruits and vegetables, grow some flowers. I don't know, I feel like that would be the perfect life. I know my husband Daniel would disagree. He loves the city, and I understand why. There's just something so idyllic about living out in the forest. I don't know. I think I would really like it, but maybe I'd start to hate it after a while. Who knows? Oh, I'm so excited with that arch. That's so beautiful. I love just hanging flowers and things like that, and so that arch was amazing to me, and I had to have it in the build, for sure. I really hope I'm going to be able to play this cottage with a Murphy bed, because I really want to use it. I want to definitely be able to have the microhome status and not be punished with a Murphy bed. It's so frustrating. If anybody has any ideas for how to fix it so that it's not breaking every single night, I would really appreciate it if you could tell me in the comments below, because it's so upsetting. I understand like sometimes the Murphy bed should break, it's part of gameplay, but not every single night. My Sims are miserable. They don't sleep because they're too afraid of the bed. They can't get any work done. It's just awful. And so now I'm just doing some terrain painting, finishing up here. I'm really proud of this build. I think it came together quite well. Oh, I'm also adding a little bee box out in the back so she can make some honey but not have the bees be too close to the house. And just finishing some interior work. I need to cover the bathroom with tiles and paint. And that is our speed build. The finished product. I think it came together quite nicely. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you want me to keep doing these speed builds, also please make sure to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!